guys, so I'm really excited to be sharing this episode with you. My name's Hayley Morrison. This is Let's Talk Out Loud podcast, the Health Kick series. I'm getting down with a good life. So in this episode, I spoke to a lovely lady called Nisha Philippa Fernando, also known as the Water Lady, and we discussed hydrogen-rich water. So you may have seen this floating around on the internet, hydrogen water, hydrogen water. So in this episode, Nisha shares with us what hydrogen water actually is, where it kind of originated from, the benefits of it, who can drink hydrogen water, why it's best in comparison to other water filters, to distillers, but more importantly, what it can do for your health. I also want to add that this is the first episode I've recorded, and sometimes you can kind of put things off, but I do believe in you don't have to be great at start, but you have to start to become great. So there's a few things that I would definitely change, which is certainly where I had the camera, because it just looks like I'm looking off the screen. So I just want to kind of put that out there and say, yeah, there's a few little things that could be done better next time. But anyway, enjoy. And if you have any questions, if you want to get in touch with Nisha for more information, all of her details will be in the description. Enjoy. All right, so I just want to say thank you so much to Nisha Philippa Fernando for obviously scheduling the time to come and have a talk with me. She is known as the Water Lady, also the Hydrogen Water Specialist Educator, and she's going to be telling everybody, you know, what hydrogen water is, the benefits of it, and I'll kind of go through questions so that we'll get all the juicy information out first. So hello, thank you so much, Nisha.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
No, you're welcome. So as we have obviously discussed previously, I said, let's just get straight to the juicy stuff. So I'm just going to give you your first question, which is, what is hydrogen water?
Okay, so hydrogen water has been tap water turned through electrolysis. So it's gone through a machine that has a plate in it that literally puts an electric current through. And we all know H2O is water, right? H2O, we learnt that in school. So hydrogen water has H2, two little hydrogen molecules that have been split off by that electrolysis process and dissolved into the water, the hydrogen gas. Those little H2 molecules, hydrogen molecules, are acting as an antioxidant in the body. So this water is not just any old standard water. This is an actual healing water. And yeah, we can go into like why that is and what kind of things, what kind of health issues it would help with. But it's essentially, I call it magic water, but that's, yeah, it's not really magic, but it is a high concentrated antioxidant, essentially.
Yeah. So where did this kind of first all come about? Like, has it been going on for years? Like, when did this start?
Yeah, well,
hydrogen water thing.
Well, actually, you know, if you were to go to the most pure, amazing glacier, maybe in New Zealand, that's untouched and it's got a spring water bursting up from under the rocks, under the glacier, you know, that water would have, because it's been, you know, pushed through the rocks of the volcanic, you know, it would have probably a high level of antioxidant in a similar way. But in Japan, I would say as much as 5 to 70 years ago, scientists started to develop and test these machines that could produce the same effect in water through this electrolysis process, as I say. So the research and the development of the machines that can do that in your home, they've been around for at least 50 years. And I think it mostly originated in Japan. So we all know how Japan is one of the best places for technology. Yeah. And, you know, all that scientific research and also the health as well. So these products mostly came out of Japan, and obviously they're all over the world now. But Japan is still a center of research into the health, and actually the scientific studies have come along a lot further than what they even realized these machines could do when they first started developing them, probably around 50 years ago. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. So what would you say is the main difference between, you know, drinking the tap water to wanting to go to hydrogen water? Like maybe talk a little bit about tap water and I've been
Yeah.
doing some research
Well,
lately as well, but you probably know a lot more than me.
well, tap water is a lot of people realize now that we've got contaminants in tap water and stuff like that. So then people think, okay, filtered water is the ultimate thing. Let's filter out some of those nasties and um, pharmaceuticals and pesticides and all of the fluorides and all of the things in tap water, right? And then we get clean water. And people think that the ultimate for your health is clean water. Actually, that's just like the bare minimum standard. That's like a basic human right to have clean water, right? That's just like the bare minimum standard for our bodies. And all we're doing there is just eliminating some negative effects. We're not adding in any actual positive benefits. It's just standard water, right? And actually, tap water is dead water. And that's because it's been going through these metal pipes. You know how I described earlier about this beautiful water bubbling up through the rocks under the glacier in New Zealand, right? There's only a few places in the world where this spring water comes out at such a high standard. That is not the same as tap water. Tap water's been sitting in tanks, it's been treated in plants, it's gone through metal pipes in angles, which are like right angles and stuff like that. And it's dead water. There's more to H2O than we realize. It's not, the type of water, it changes depending on the environment that it's in, water. So tap water, yeah, it's not going to kill you instantly. And a lot of people think that in the West and in the UK, we've got good water, right? We've got clean water, we've got a plumbing system. There are negative effects on health to drinking tap water, and you may not notice them instantly. Obviously, you're not going to get dysentery, but you're going to have chronic illnesses building in the body through drinking tap water over time. So we've got tap water. Then we can turn, clean water, if we can turn that into clean water, into amazing water with health benefits by, as I say, adding these molecular hydrogen molecules to it to give us an actual health elixir, something that can actually improve very common health situations that are happening these days in greater numbers. Chronic illness is an epidemic now in the world. And this is one thing, really impactful thing that people can have relatively simply in their kitchen that can impact the whole family's health in a massive way. And that is relatively unknown. And this blows my mind that I never knew about this previously when I had studied physiology and biochemistry at university and nutrition, and nothing like, I never even thought about water till a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, obviously, who can drink it, but you just said they're like the whole family, which is ideal. Yeah.
Pets, plants, people, everything.
Yeah. So do you know how you've got the machine, and obviously you either attach it to your taps or you at least put the cold water in? I haven't actually seen the machine. Do you know how it works?
Yeah.
Does it literally take out all of the like contaminants and things like that? Or is it just literally adding hydrogen so it's making it a little bit healthier?
Okay, so we have two different things here, and this is where people get very confused.
Yeah.
We have filtered water, which we've removed nasties. Then we have ionized water, it's actually called, or alkalized. Yeah, hydrogen water, which has been through electrolysis. So we want to filter it as well. We do want clean water as well, don't get me wrong. And then we can make it supercharged with added health benefits by putting it through one of these machines. So the machine is not a filter. Machine is an ionizer. So we need to pre-filter it if we want to have ultra clean water as well. It has a basic filter in there, but
Yeah.
not to take out everything. So, and the reason for this is these machines are sold all over the world. So everybody's water in different countries and different locations are different. So we all need to filter out different things. So depending on where you are, what your water source is, whether you're in Africa or UK or Australia or America, you can actually, add on the different filters for the different things that you want to take out. Some people want to take out fluoride. Some people want the fluoride in the water,
Yeah.
right? So there's no kind of standard pre-filter. We add in what we want, and then we have clean water, then we have ionized with health benefits. So what the things that it's helped, and we have like scientific studies as well, is things like allergies, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, basically anything chronic, in the body. We have to be careful with the C word, but cancers, if you go and look at the studies, you can actually find, over 1,400 studies on PubMed that they've done into the effects on humans with this heat, with this water and these different health issues. So there are many things. There's probably not many chronic things that it won't help. But yeah, the reason is that it's basically an antioxidant. And we've heard about oxidative stress when the apple goes brown, when you expose it to air, and that's happening to our cells. That's happening inside our body. That's effectively aging. The reason why it helps with all of these chronic illnesses that I mentioned is, so a couple of things. So it targets the free radicals, but only the ones that we want to get rid of in the body. So it sweeps them up in the same way the blueberries did, you know. And oxidative stress, it reduces that by 40%. So a lot of the reason for a lot of these diseases is oxidative stress in the body. So this water containing molecular hydrogen can actually reduce that by 40%. Okay. The other thing is it's a really small molecule, so it can really get about around the body and get absorbed a lot easier. It actually crosses the blood-brain barrier as well, which very few things. So you know, if we drink filtered water or whatever, and the goodness from that is it's not crossing the blood-brain barrier, but the molecular hydrogen in this water can, which means it's really getting to the places that it needed, which is why it's helping things like Alzheimer's and stuff like that. It's an anti-inflammatory, you know, all of these things we're told, you know, to eat anti-inflammatory foods and stuff. Well, you can have a mega boost of it through your water as well. It protects against DNA and mitochondria, cell damage, you know, so it's actually quite a lot of things that it's like doing in your body when you drink this water that is combating all of the things that are causing these chronic illness symptoms, you know, fatigue and allergies and yeah, all the long-term kind of chronic diseases that are kind of going wild these days, unfortunately, due to our lifestyles. So yeah, and the cells actually get more hydrated. So for our bodies to work, our cells need to be hydrated. And if you see an unhealthy cell, it will be kind of shriveled and it will be dehydrated. And if it's a healthy, hydrated cell, it's full and, you know, sort of bursting, not bursting, but, you know, it's nice and full when everything can work as it should do. So this is how this water gets into that. And, you know, in a sense, in the way that it works with sweeping up the, you know, it's an antioxidant effect, sweeping up these free radicals. It's kind of it's like an elixir. It's an elixir. So it's almost like, I don't like to say the word medicine, but you know, it's like a natural way for your body to be able to activate its own healing process. So it's almost like a detox effect as well. We all talk about, you know, we need to detox, all of these environmental you know, toxins are coming from everywhere. So this is can be part of your detox kind of protocol as well. So yeah.
Is that why you call it magic water?
Yeah.
Because it sounds magic. So is there like a limit for how much somebody can drink?
No, there isn't, but there is a limit on what you should drink anyway. Like there is such a thing as drinking too much water. So you will see people online saying, yeah, we can drink 5 liters a day. I don't think everybody can drink 5 liters a day, but I think 3 liters a day is a good amount for most adults to aim for. And yeah, having like 1 liter or 1.5 liters, like that's definitely enough for most adults, I would say. But everyone can drink it, and you know, you don't have to have that. You can drink other water, just plain filtered water during the day if you don't want to have it all day. But there are the people that have it, they can't drink anything else. They're like, I'm never going back to any other. They drink it all day. Yeah. And there's no negatives in it, so you know, it's not like you can have too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm going to add as well, because obviously I've like looked at your page and things, and obviously it's in your head going, oh, I kind of really want one of these, and my partner was like, maybe it's not yet, and so we bought a distiller.
Yeah.
However, I've only recently learned, so I knew that a distiller obviously takes away all of the minerals, all of the goodness, so I was very, very aware that I needed to add that back into my diet somehow. But then also what I didn't realize is that by drinking too much distilled water can actually boost your blood cells. And there's a name for it. I think it might be called hypotonic concentration. And I was like, stop drinking it. Like, so David, my partner, sorry?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up about distillers, actually. Yeah.
So I think if you're going to have a distiller because you want to get rid of everything, in my head, I'm thinking, well, we've already got a distiller. So if you ever obviously purchase like one of these machines, at least I can distill my water and then add some goodness, because adding Celtic salt in your water that has minerals, which is what my partner does, isn't going to be ideal for everybody. So like for me, trying to put a bit of salt in my water. I've got supplements as well, but it's not the
Mm,
most nicest thing to drink. So
right,
that's something that I
right.
didn't think of before buying a distiller.
Yes. Yeah, so there was a whole craze, I think, over the last few years of people going for distillers. And this is, I'm so glad you brought this up because it's a very important point to make. And actually, first, before I say any more, I should have said this in the beginning. I want to do a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not a medical person, can't advise you on what you should do in your individual situations. You know, everybody needs to, consult their own medical people and do their own research and make their own decisions for their own bodies. But the research that I've done, what I've been shown and what I'm choosing to believe, this, scientifically, is that we shouldn't be drinking absolutely stripped pure water.
Hmm.
So everyone got into this craze of it's just about how clean the water is, right? We just need pure H2O. And actually they're missing a big point. We do need the minerals in the water. And just think about it logically. What is most closest to nature? When the water comes out from the earth, and that's what, we're drinking, the water source, and it's come through the rocks and all of that, it has minerals in it and a natural balance from the earth, right? So how would our body be designed to drink and thrive on something that's unnatural, totally stripped? Even if you're adding in, I don't think you can get drops and stuff
You can get
to
like electrolytes and
remineralize
things like
water.
that to add
Yeah,
in.
you can do that. And it's amazing if people are doing that because that's better than not doing it.
Hmm.
I don't know. I still question like how close to nature is that? Like
Yeah.
adding in something artificial, like taking it out, adding in something artificial. For me, I would rather just stick with the how it should be in nature, right?
Hmm.
So the benefit of just filtering, not reverse osmosis, not distill, because reverse osmosis strips everything as well,
Hmm.
right? Just filter the water, the nasties out, and then supercharge it with molecular hydrogen. We're keeping the minerals that we need. It does change the way that water behaves and how the water behaves in your body if you've removed. And a lot of people argue, but I get the minerals in my diet. Yeah, but are you eating every time you have water as well? Like, no, it's you need to be
Hmm.
putting in your body what is as close to nature as possible.
Yeah.
So yes, remineralizing, putting salts. The other thing with the distilled water, I believe that totally distilled water, totally pure, is only meant to be used in protocols when you're doing certain like cleanses and stuff like that for a short period of time, not for the
Yeah.
long term. It's potential to be highly damaging, to be leaching those minerals from your body, all the other things that may be happening due to drinking this unnatural
Hmm.
water. So I don't want to be, bagging out any products out there or anything, but really think about it and do some research as to what you're
Hmm.
putting in your body. And for me personally, I'd rather stick to what is, as close to nature as possible, and that is having the minerals that were already in the water,
Hmm.
and reducing the heavy metals and all that other stuff, the
Yeah.
nasties.
And I think,
But
like you said
yeah,
as well, like you've got, like obviously with you not being necessarily a doctor or a scientist, but obviously you've done research, you kind of, I suppose, buying the machine you use, leaving it to the professionals to figure out how this
mm,
works, what needs to go in. Whereas when you're just left to kind of do it yourself, I don't think it can't be done. And I'm definitely kind of researching constantly to make sure I get it right. At the
mm,
moment, obviously, I've just purchased some electrolytes to put in. I'm taking minerals, but I'm still in my head thinking, I'm not a doctor. So I don't want to be doing more harm than good. And I've got an 8-year-old daughter. I've got my dog.
mm, mm.
Obviously, David's a grown man as well. He can make his own decisions. So I
Yeah,
am kind of second guessing, like I'm trying to do all this myself. So I think if anybody wants to get a distiller, just make sure that you go to town on research and look into it, and also consider obviously the product that you're talking about.
yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes you've got to be wary, mindful of like what was just like a craze on social media and everyone was jumping on. And as you say, it's very hard to do research. I get this. It's very hard
Mhm.
to know, when you do your research, you do find so much conflicting
Yeah,
information.
100%.
And yeah, and at the end of the day, I think it's just important to know that pure is not necessarily healthful.
Hmm.
And that's surprising to people because it's not just about how pure something is. And when you say pure, you're actually taking out some of the goodness as well. So yeah, that's what I'll say on that.
So would you be able to get a distiller, have pure water, then add the hydrogen in, but because you're still going to be missing all the minerals as well, aren't
No,
you?
because
So you'd
it's got to come from the tap, because it's got to
got,
come through pressure. So it taps to your tap, the water comes from the tap and it goes through the pipes, goes through the machine. So you can't, like, say, use one of those jug type filters and then no, it's got to be under pressure through a tap. So you can have like a whole house filter system or filters under your sink that's filtering the tap water before it comes out the tap. That would be it. That's amazing. Or you can just do what some of us do and buy the filters that attach to the machine that I'm talking about to pre-filter it extra before it goes through.
Yeah. And is the price difference like a big jump to add the filter on, or is it like
No, these pre-filters, they're an extra thing, and they're not. They're just like £80 or £60 or
oh just
something.
just to add it
£60.
on? Oh
These
wow.
are just pre-filters. Yeah, these are just. So have you seen the things that are under people's sinks? Sometimes they look like cylinders.
Yeah.
It's those. Yeah, it's basically like those, but you don't have to have them under your sink. You can just have them on the worktop behind the machine. They're not expensive. No.
Right, okay. But obviously it's the distilling process that we don't want, because then we're losing everything. Yeah, that
No,
makes sense.
no, yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. You can't put so you can't have water with no minerals in it going through the machine because it won't electrolyze.
Of course.
Chemically, that
It's dead
won't
water.
work. You have to have the minerals for it actually to do that electrolysis process. So that's what you can't use this with a reverse osmosis system. So if someone had reverse osmosis, they'd have to get the thing that you can remineralize it with before it goes through the machine for that
Yes.
to work, which is totally possible. But if someone's wanting to get like a proper system for their whole house or in the kitchen, under the sink, it's best they just do filtration rather than reverse osmosis. And then, yeah, they can have the machine attached to the tap. Or if they don't want to get one of those sort of fancy systems under the sink, they can just get the pre-filled cylinders, as I say, which
Yeah.
I have a supplier in the UK that can do that with the pipes to fix to the K8.
Is there other products like yours on the market? Not that we want to kind of talk about other people's companies, but I mean,
No,
why,
yeah.
like, why
No,
yours
of course.
basically?
Yeah, of course, there are quite a few. There's a couple of others from Japan, and then there's you'll see others being made in maybe Korea or China and various other places. Quality is different and price ranges are different. So the reason this is actually quite a high end, it's not a cheap product. We don't want cheap, shoddy products when we're talking about, dealing with our health and our body. So the cheaper ones, they tend to be the ones that might corrode inside and actually stop working and maybe even put, this sounds bad, but some of the real cheaper ones actually put the metals from the plates into the water. So they would be corroding inside. They're not as high grade. So when I say the one that I'm with is a market leader, it's like the highest grade. It's actually got a medical certification in Japan. So the plates, the metal plates the water runs over, which has an electric charge, and that's what makes the hydrogen bubbles come off the water. It's made of platinum and titanium. They're just not cheap, right? So this is a quality machine. It's got a medical grade, so it's allowed to be in hospitals in Japan. Like you can't have like cheap shoddy workmanship. And these things last for like 15 to 20 years. So when looking at this, you've got to look at the investment in your health and your family's health and over how long. So if someone said, oh, I'm going to buy something that's £500, okay, that might last 6 months to 12 months. Like by the time it's not, at that level of quality, it's not going to be lasting that long. So how much are you going to buy one every year to 2 years? How much is it going to cost you over 20 years, 15 years? You may as well have bought the high grade one in the first place. So it really is down to quality. And personally, I just don't want to like compromise on price, but it's my health, So the reason that our company is the market leader is the quality. Everything's made in house. There's no like parts from here, production line in China. There's nothing like that. It's all made by each machine made by hand by one person within house. All the parts are made in house. So the quality control is there and the certifications are there. So I would say when you're looking at something like this, it's like a very kind of intricate technology. You need to be looking at quality if you actually want it to be producing the health results that it can make for your
I
body.
suppose I'll ask you this as well. What would you kind of say to people who, do you know how you've seen Gary Brecker talking about hydrogen water, I think it is.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
was it
the bottles.
Andrew Huberman, I think maybe, and they've got the
Yes.
bottles. What would you say
Yes.
if someone was going to say, well, I'm just going to get one of them for £70?
Yeah. So what I've heard is that the a little battery, how much hydrogen can that make compared to 240-volt machine?
Hmm.
Right. So it might put a bit of hydrogen in there, but then what I've heard is that it's not long living. It will, within 2 minutes it will be gone. So you'll have to keep pressing it, keep drinking it, keep like,
Yeah,
and it's
because it's
still,
gas, isn't it? So it go, yeah. Hmm.
I don't believe that they can create. I've got a reel on my account actually with a guy who's sort of tested them.
Hmm.
Um, that it can create as powerful concentration of molecular hydrogen as a machine. There's just no way. And they won't last. They can't produce the volume that you would need for a whole family for the whole
Hmm.
day. Like, how many times can you fill that up and keep pressing that button? How many batteries are you going to get? It just won't be as powerful. So you get what you pay for, obviously. And
Yeah.
I'm saying they're probably good to have. They're not a bad thing to have, but you can't compare it to having a quality machine that's going to
Mm.
produce 12, whatever, how many people in your family,
Yeah.
12, 15 liters a day. And the concentration of the water stays up to 24 to 48 hours. If you take bottles of water out with you, they
Mm.
still have that health effect if you drink it later in the day. If you make it with a cheap machine or one of those bottles, as I say, the effect probably stays 5 minutes
Hmm.
in that water. And I want to, obviously I'm not research that in a lab, but this is kind of what I'm hearing on the scientific
Yeah.
circuit and online, that
Hmm.
it's not really possible for those relatively cheap bottles, a small technology
Hmm.
using a battery,
Yeah.
to
So they're
for you
kind
to
of like, it's
receive.
pointless in a sense having it,
I,
because then it's not going to last too long. And then they're going to have to buy another one and another one, which goes back to what you said about
Still a
investing
lot of
something that's
money.
a bit more long
Yeah.
term. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I mean, I
makes
think they
sense.
are about 70, 80 quid, right? They're not cheap,
Hmm.
for what they are, and they're not going to last that long. So if you have a machine that's going to last you literally decades, yeah, there's no comparison even on price.
Hmm.
Like, I really am keen, enthusiastic to spearhead a water movement in the UK,
Hmm.
because I think it's something that really needs to happen. We have a lot of people very kind of stuck in the mindset of that our tap water is amazing because, as I say, we were the first ones to invent plumbing, right? And
Hmm.
everyone thinks that the water's good. Really think about that and do some research. What is actually in this water? You can even send your water off to be tested and
I
find out
bought a test
exactly
kit.
what is in the water.
I actually bought a
Well, you can
test
send it
kit.
off to a lab. You can send it off and be tested in a lab and get an actual breakdown of what is it exactly
Hmm.
in your water. And really, like, this is taking off anyway. I don't know if you've noticed in the last few months, online social media, hydrogen water is just trending. And all kinds of water, different products are popping up on my timeline now.
Hmm.
And I think it's just like we're reaching this point where people in the UK are suddenly going, water, okay, this is a thing. So it is starting to happen. And I just really want to be, that's why I've called myself, well, I got called the water lady, actually. I've taken that, title from someone else calling me that.
Hmm.
But to really educate on thinking about what type of water, not just how much. Everyone knows you need to drink a lot. Now we need to start thinking about what type of water and realizing that not all water is created equally. Not at
Hmm.
all.
Obviously, we'll share your details on the post at the end anyway as well. But do you want to talk about the brand that you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, how I came to know about this water and
Mhm.
start doing my research is because I actually became a distributor or affiliate of the market leading company that produces these machines from Japan 3.5 years ago, nearly 4 years ago. And as I said to you, I did study physiology, biochemistry, and nutrition at uni a long time ago, obviously, but had never even got myself a water filter, had never really even thought about it. I knew that I should be researching it and looking into it. It's just one of those things I kept putting off.
Mhm.
And then this opportunity came to me, and I obviously got my own machine and then started to learn, then started to look at the science and started to learn. I had the faith that the science was there when I purchased. because I could see I hadn't done it myself, but I was happy that it was there. And the experts were telling, showing how many studies there were. I was like, okay, yeah, I trust that. I came in, then I started to learn, then I saw, yes, the evidence is there. This water is amazing. And then you've got the anecdotal, like you say, stories of people that have had the health transformations as well. So, yeah, the company is called Enagic, and this is the market leading company in the world. They've been around for 50 years, and they're from Okinawa. Have you heard of Okinawa? It's an island. It's a tropical island, which is a blue zone. So
Mhm.
a blue zone means that it has the highest concentration of centurions, which is people that live over 100. And
Oh.
then there's something about those locations. There's a few around the world that they know that there's something in their lifestyle that is helping these people to live longer. And it could be diet, it could be activity, it could be whatever, I don't know.
Mm.
And they don't really know, I think, but Okinawa is one of those places. So this is where the machine was born. And as I say, 50 years ago, this company has been around for 50 years. And it's the same machines, it's the same science. It's just that the studies have been done like more recently in the last, say, 10 to 15 years. And all the time new studies are coming out. And what they know now is that it's about the molecular hydrogen. I don't think they even realized that's what it was. They thought it was about the alkalinity
Mhm.
when they produce it, but it's not about the alkalinity, it's about the molecular hydrogen. So this is a direct sales company, which means people can actually purchase to improve their health and then become a distributor to help improve their wealth as well. So the motto is change your water, change your life. And the mission of the company is to really help empower people to, as I say, have optimum health and really improve their wealth situation as well through becoming a distributor of this machine.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've been part of this global community for 3.5 years, as I say, and absolutely loving it. And I am one of the people in the UK that's pioneering bringing this over to the UK in a big way as well.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I want to touch on this as well, the whole like marketing thing and the distribution,
Yeah.
because I know that it gets a lot of slack. And I've been a
Mm,
distributor in the past for things like utility warehouse, a
yeah.
forex company I used to be involved in. And I think people just get this idea, oh, it's a pyramid,
Yeah.
it's a scam, it's not good. But I don't know if you want to kind of like explain a little bit more, or I mean, I've got my thoughts I
Yeah,
can
I think
add.
it's really funny actually. These ideas are out there in the online space, and I'm quite confused by it because I don't really know where they come from because I've not been in that industry for a very long time, apart from when
Mhm.
I came into this opportunity. And I think maybe it's something to do with I don't know, back in the day, Tupperware parties, Avon ladies,
Mhm.
and people saw people inviting their friends and trying to get their friends to come to their Tupperware parties, which used to be in the
Yeah.
home and everything. And they're like, oh, you're just trying to sell me your stuff, when it was all about selling to your friends and family. But what's happened now, obviously, in the last however long it is social media.
Hmm.
We don't have to be selling to our friends and family anymore. We can actually do like marketing to whoever actually wants the thing
Hmm.
globally, right? So it's changed the way that we work in these models. But also, I think the other aspect of it that makes people feel that it's this pyramid scheme word, that gets thrown
Hmm.
around is because it's actually about working with other people. It's actually working within a team I've been mentioning the words community, global
Yeah.
community. Yeah, so it's about working with others and you're actually joining like a sales team essentially. So when people hear that, they think, oh, I'm going to be convincing people to join my sales team. It's
Yeah.
like, why would you want to work with someone that you'd had to convince and
Yeah.
twist their arm to be in your business, on your opportunity?
Mhm.
It really doesn't work like that. And I get it, there might be bad eggs out there that have done things the wrong way that have given people this bad impression. But from what I've seen, I don't see anyone like that in the circles that I move in.
Mhm.
It's all completely heart-centered. It's all like, I actually love working with people. Like, why would I want to do business on my own? You
Mhm.
know, I've got amazing people around me to help me and work with and have a laugh with, like literally every day. Like,
Mhm.
I'd do that any day over working on my own, just trying to sell a product out there
Yeah.
on my own, like lonely and
Yeah.
so it's actually a positive thing. This whole And it's not a pyramid. It's not like the person at the top makes all the money. Like that's just a myth. Like
Hmm.
there's no compensation plans that work like that out there. But these myths are there, and I don't, yeah, refute that they're out there. I think it's just a case of like, you know, people like me and people like you and other people online just like speaking about it like really
Hmm.
positively. Like this is actually amazing. Like, it's an amazing opportunity to work in a pyramid scheme. And
Yeah.
actually there's that, the joke that you work in a corporate, that is the real pyramid scheme,
Well,
actually.
this is the thing. This is what we used to say all the time. Like, hang on a minute, you've got a job, you've got a supervisor, you've got a manager, you've got the directors. That actually is a pyramid scheme. And I think
Mm,
as well, when you've got people like yourself distributing things, you're using it yourself. You're not just going to a job for the sake of having a job. You pick
yeah.
something that resonates with you, that you're
Yeah,
passionate about, that you can also make money at the same time. Like that's, I think, what people's goal should be in life is to find something they're passionate about
absolutely.
and then push it. And then you don't have to convince people like you've just said, because you're like, this is what I'm doing. If you want a piece of the pie, if you want
Yeah.
to join in, you're more than welcome. And if you don't, that's okay, kind of thing. So I think it's amazing
Yeah.
doing like the distributing. And then obviously it saves the company money on the advertising thing, which is what they say, isn't it? We don't advertise
It's
because
yeah,
people buy our products and love it so much. And then we make money through them. So yeah, I just thought I wanted to cover that because I know
absolutely.
with the type of thing it is, and from what I've had experience in the past, it would definitely probably be a comment if anybody
Yeah.
watches it, isn't it? So I'm glad we covered that bit. So how can people become an affiliate?
So direct sales mean you can only purchase one of these through a distributor. And so you can only become a distributor by contacting a distributor as well.
Mhm.
So you need to contact either myself or the person. If you may have sort of, when I've been talking, realizing that someone you know already in your life has been talking about this and online that you already know, you already have a relationship with, you need to reach out to that person and you need to ask for more information about, becoming one yourself and purchasing your own product. And it's pretty simple. That is it. You purchase a product and you get an ID number, then your distributor. And the point of this model is that you will get help and support and mentorship to actually make it into a business,
Mhm.
through that person and through that whole family tree that you kind of join when you mentioned, the team that we talked about. So yeah, I mean, if anyone's wanting more information, then I have kind of webinars and stuff. I'm Nisha Philippa Fernando on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And that's the kind of way we work these days. It's all about online and it's all about having webinars and funnels and all of this stuff given to us now that people can just actually go through and do the research and have a look for themselves.
Mhm.
So it's not that, I even have to become an expert and sit down and have a hour-long talk with every single person. I've got things that I can send, links that I can send where
Mhm.
people can sit down and go through it in their own time. So yeah, it's pretty simple. And there are, as I say, different water products out there. This is the only one. My company's the only one that has a business model which is as potent as our one.
Yeah.
A lot of things you might be able to be affiliate for and get 10%, but it's not, it's not no way a business model as solid as the one that we
Mhm.
have with Magic.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Well, Nisha, I think we should probably wrap it up so we can try and condense to 30
Yeah,
minutes. But obviously, thank you so much again for scheduling to come and, have a chat. I'll make sure that I put all of your links under the video. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, have a look at your videos, join your groups, then they can kind of do that directly. Um,
great.
so thank you so much. And I'm
Thank
sure we'll
you.
see you again in the future.